Evening, folks. We're just letting people in, so we'll give everyone a few minutes. Welcome, welcome. And we are making a recording of this session, folks, just so you know. You're very welcome to keep your camera off, but if you wanted to turn it on, you're more than welcome to do that if you wish. You can see the people running this webinar, including additional folk in the background. My name's Alistair, and then I've got Louise and Joe with me, and we'll introduce ourselves in a second. But I do want to give folk a bit of time to come in if they're coming in late, so we'll give it a minute or two. But thank you very much for turning up on time. It's good to see this number here. And just looking at your affiliations, we've got people from Papworth, Cambridge, Southend, a few people who haven't got a location, which is fine, of course. Mid and South Essex, Esneft. So we've got a pretty good West Hertfordshire, East London. We've got a pretty good spread, so that's nice to see. And I think we've got Francesca Crawley on the line. I can't quite see her. Francesca, is your video on? Or am I just not seeing her in the...
It's on
I beg your pardon.
On my screen.
I've just got a complicated setup where I can't quite see you, but very nice to see you, Francesca. we're going to start in a minute or so, just to make sure everyone who wants to come can be there at the beginning. Great. Okay. Well, why don't we make a gentle start, folks? So let me welcome you all again. And what I thought I'd do is if we just go round the speakers or panelists, so just so you get an idea of who we are and why we're here. And then I've got some slides to go through, so that'll be a kind of formal presentation. And then there'll be opportunities to ask questions at the end. If you'd like to ask a question through the chat as we're going along, so you don't have to remember it, that's absolutely fine. And one of us will monitor the chat and we'll make sense of all of that in the end. But I guess the main thing you all want to know is what is all this about? Why you saw this advert and you've applied for it, what's it all about? And the bottom line is that we really want to, as a group, we want to make medical research available to as many people who wish to take part in it as would like, and in particular to people who've never had any opportunity before to do medical research. We'd like to give them that opportunity, and the reason we want to do that is because we think it's fun and exciting. So my name's Alistair Coles and I'm a neurologist, and I'm going to pass over to Joe. Would you mind just introducing yourself and then passing on to someone?
Yes, so good evening, and just to echo Alistair, I'm absolutely delighted to be here tonight and to see so many people have made the effort to attend. I'm Professor of Nursing in the University of Cambridge, and I lead the Nursing, Midwifery and Allied Health Professional kind of research programme here. And just to echo again what Alistair was saying, diversity is a lot of, having a really diverse workforce and being inclusive is fun, but it also makes our research better. It undoubtedly improves what we do and what our environment's like. So we're really excited by this programme, and I'm going to pass over to Jessica.
Hi, thank you. My name's Francesca Crawley. I'm also a neurologist, but I'm not an academic. So I'm the lead for academic training in the East of England. So I see fair play. So this is a fabulous programme because this is fair. I also work for the foundation school, and I suspect quite a lot of you are that sort of age in your stage, really, in your training. So you're all terribly welcome, and thanks so much for coming. And no question will be too stupid for us. So just think of anything you want to ask. Don't be shy. Oh, Louise.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Louise Burmeister. I am the Clinical Academic Training Program Manager. So I'm basically the administrator who deals with all of the admin side of things.
Thank you very much, folks. And just a reminder, if you joined late, that we are recording this meeting, and that's so that people who couldn't attend have the opportunity to hear about it. So I'm going to move straight on to some slides. which will hopefully give you the details that you're interested to know. We think that doing research is fantastically fun. It adds variety to the work of a healthcare professional, a doctor, a nurse, midwife, whoever. But also we believe that our patients get a better deal if we're doing research, both in a very specific way, that our patients will get access to things that they otherwise wouldn't if we're doing research, for instance, clinical trials. But also there's no doubt that patients who are involved in units that do research flourish better. And there's evidence for that, particularly in the cancer field. By doing research, not only do you help the people in front of you, but you may well help many, many other people. So a research study you do today may well help thousands of people. Research teams are very stable, unlike the clinical teams that you may be working in. So if you do research, you may well end up working with someone for 20 years, which would be unusual in a clinical team. So it's a fun environment to work in. And also by getting involved in research, it increases the possibilities and opportunities for you for doing future work. So I'm a great believer in offering the opportunity for doing research to as many people as possible. But what we know is that recruitment to research posts, to clinical academic posts, favors people with previous research experience and academic success. So there's a kind of catch-22 that if you never get any research experience, it's very hard to get into an academic post. And there are some groups of staff for whom it's particularly difficult to get research experience. So it's hard on the individual, but also, and Joe alluded to this, in terms of the nation and the research effort, we want as many talented people as possible to be involved. And if people aren't getting that opportunity, then our research capacity is less than it should be. We also know that the quality of research that's done improves as you include more and more diverse voices, both as research participants, but also as researchers. And again, the evidence for that is very clear. So what we're presenting today is an effort to try and redress some of these problems. So we are aiming to provide opportunities for particular staff groups to get involved in clinical research and be mentored in research skills and career progression. And it's worth knowing that the first year, and I'll present in a moment the details of the first year, is relatively small scale and is a pilot study, but we are planning to move this into a bigger phase for the second year. So if, for instance, your circumstances are such that getting involved this year might be a bit difficult, but you're excited and interested for next year, then please, stay engaged and sign up because this is a 2-year project and you can be involved in the second year. So for the first year, which is a smaller cohort, we will be selecting 14 people to take part in this program. So that will be 10 doctors and 4 NMAHPs. Now, I always get this wrong. So Joe, you explain to me exactly who an NMAHP is, because I don't want to embarrass myself.
It's a nurse, midwife, or allied health professionals. Allied health professionals are physiotherapists, occupational therapists, speech and language therapists, the kind of therapy group.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you. And I think you're particularly interested, not exclusively, but you're particularly interested in offering opportunities to international nurses. Is that correct, Joe? Is that?
Yeah, international NMAHPs more generally, I think.
Right.
But
Okay.
we have a big cohort in the east of England of international nurses.
Great. Thank you. So if you're in that group, or if you know people in that group, please alert them to this opportunity. On the doctor's side, we're particularly interested in people who are in training posts, so junior doctors, to use the UK terminology, whose circumstances are such that they've missed out on the opportunity to experience research or take part in research. And there may be all sorts of reasons why that's the case, and I'm deliberately haven't listed them all, but there might be external reasons. So, they trained in a medical school outside of this country, for instance, where research just wasn't a thing, or there might be internal reasons. There might be factors about you and your life experience that mean you just weren't able to take part in research. Another group are locally employed doctors, that is, doctors who are in non-training posts who, by virtue of the fact that they haven't been in a UK training scheme, for instance, haven't had access to research possibilities. So those are our three focus groups, but this is not exclusive. In other words, if you're not in one of these three groups, but feel you are the sort of person who would benefit from a research opportunity, please go ahead and apply, and we will take your application on its merits very seriously. Okay, so what actually are we offering? So we will offer, or we are offering, 3 workshops through January to March of next year, which will explain what research is like. We'll talk to you about what a clinical academic career is like, both on the doctor side and the NMAHP side, and talk to you and help you with the sort of career development skills that come with doing research, such as presentation, interview skills, CV planning, and so on. So for those of you who feel shy because this is all very strange and unfamiliar to you, who not quite sure what a clinical academic does because you're working in a situation where you haven't seen any clinical academics, then this is for you, because we will show you what a clinical academic does and we'll go through it, and hopefully any kind of prejudices or any kind of mystery about what this world is like will be dispelled. So those are 3 workshops. And then we'd like to offer you a taste of doing clinical research through February to May of next year. In doctor's case, this will be 1 week of doing research of your choice at the University of Cambridge, or if it's more appropriate, at EAU, that's in Norwich, or ARU. You will be able to choose what sort of things you'd like to do, and we will work with you to try and find a research group that will provide you with that. So we can't promise exactly what you want, but we'll try and find something that fits in with the sort of research that you might want to do. And it's important that you know that's fully funded, so you'll have to pay nothing for this. We'll provide you with accommodation, we'll provide you with travel, and if it's necessary, for instance, in the case of locally employed doctors, we'll backfill your salary for that week. So we want everyone to have access to this opportunity, whatever their circumstances. Now, Joe, you have a slightly different plan for NMAHPs.
Yeah, so the NMAHPs will be slightly different in that they will be work with a research group and be assigned a research mentor for 1 day a week over 5 weeks. And we had lots of discussions with staff, and this seemed to be the best model for support. We will backfill salary, so that means that you can get bought out of your clinical work 1 day a week for 5 weeks at no cost to your employer. As this is the pilot, we're kind of confining this to people who work in Cambridge University Hospitals Trust for our first programme, just in terms of the logistics of salary support. However, next year our aim is to open this up to all trusts across the east of England once we iron out any bumps in the road from this year.
Thanks, Joe. And we will help you choose your research placement and choose how you do it one-to-one informally, but we also are going to hold an open meeting on that day in January, so that, again, if you're sitting here wondering, oh, how on earth would I choose a research topic, or what sort of things could I possibly suggest, please don't be anxious about that, because that's something we can talk you through. Again, as part of this program, we'd offer you a free ticket, not that they're very expensive anyway, but I mean a free ticket to come to our annual symposium, which is a half day followed by a dinner. And that is an event where you would just receive. So you'd hear talks, you'd be in an environment where there are lots of clinical academic trainees. You could network, you can sort of meet your peers and just enjoy that day and being in a different environment. And then at the very end of this program, so that's coming to June of next year, we will hold a celebration event. We'll ask you to make a brief presentation, not a scary presentation, just a brief presentation of what you've done. And we've got a very special person coming on to give a keynote address, identity being withheld at this stage, but and you take part in a lunch and just celebrate the fact you'd been through this. Again, no cost to you. There are no hidden costs in this. All the costs will be provided. So I hope that's excited you. If you have any questions, obviously we've got time to answer those, but you may be thinking, well, how practically do I go ahead and take part in this? Louise has designed a very simple online application form, and you'll be sent the link to this week. And we'd encourage you, even if you're just not sure whether you want to be involved but think you might be, please fill this form in. And to show you how simple that is, I'm actually going to show you the form so that you feel encouraged, as this won't take a lot of time to fill out. So we just want your demographics. We would like to monitor your EDI characteristics, which will not be part of your application. So that will be withheld from anyone making any selection process, but is important to us in terms of monitoring. And the actual application form is this. It's 2 pages. So your medical qualifications, where you got them from, whether you've done any research, what sort of research you might want to do, why you want to do it, and then an important paragraph on contextual factors. And it's a slightly mysterious phrase, but we'll be giving you concrete examples of what this means. But essentially, this is your opportunity just to explain where you come from, your context, and why you in particular have been potentially disadvantaged from research opportunities, and why this is a suitable program for you. And then at the bottom, you can say whether you're interested in applying for this year or for next year. So that's the application form, really simple. And then we will have interviews, which will be face-to-face virtually via Zoom. There'll be a 20-minute interview. It'll be very relaxed. And this will not be about discussing all your accomplishments. This will be about discussing your aspirations, why you want to do it, how you would fit in, and so on. And that has a date on already specified at Thursday, the 19th of December. So that's the end of the formal presentation. And we're going to move now to answering any questions or queries you might have. But I just wanted to emphasize, before we get stuck into details, that we're really committed to ensuring that everyone in the region eventually gets access to research opportunities, because we believe in the importance of research. So this is the start of a big movement. So whoever comes on this first wave will be part of something really exciting, and your feedback to us on how helpful this is to you will be very important. Our goal is that in a few years' time, 1 or 2 of us write us an email saying, thank you, that was a fantastic experience. It launched me into doing this, and then this, and then this, and here I am doing research. That's a fantastic outcome for us. Great. So, Joe, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think it's, just very excited to have a multidisciplinary approach to that. And it's really important to us that we do have is people from all different professional backgrounds being involved in this.
And I've got a fantastic message here from Eralp, I hope I've pronounced that right, saying that we're called resident doctors now. I'm guessing that's me getting things wrong with locally employed doctors, is it, Eralp? Apologies for that. That shows how out of touch I am. Cheska, anything you wanted to add?
No, only to say that a lot of you, I think, are probably foundation sort of stage, and this would be an ideal taster week experience. And if there's a problem with organising it, I can help because I work with the foundation school.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So we'd be very happy to talk to your consultants, to talk to your training program directors and explain the importance of this if that was ever going to be a difficulty. Thank you, Erop. Anyone got any questions or queries? Is anyone excited by this possibility? Anyone interested in applying? I appreciate it's very difficult to. Thank you, Sivam. It's very difficult to come online in the with a whole load of people you don't know to ask a question or query. Terrific. So we got so Louise, what happens if we don't receive the application forms email? Who do we contact? Louise, is there any reason why you couldn't put your email in the chat? Would that be a helpful thing? And then everyone who is anxious can just get that down. Oh, thank you for some very nice comments. So Nazar, seems like a great opportunity, especially international medical graduates. So definitely international medical graduates are on our target list. If you have not had an opportunity of research for that reason, this program is for you, for sure. Is it only for foundation doctors or is it ST1? It's absolutely for all trainees and for resident doctors. So it's not just for foundation doctors. Anyone. It's not for trained consultants. Thank you, Anusha. Thank you, Zin. So Louise's email address is there, folks, on the chat. So if you take that down, yes. Could we clarify the dates for phase 1 and phase 2? Phase 1 starts now. So your application form goes in straight away and the selection process takes place in December of this year. For phase 2, your application form goes in this year, so please fill in that form, but put you want to go phase 2, and the selection process will be in December of next year, 2025. So phase 1, you actually start in January 2025. Phase 2, you actually start in January 2026. Great, thank you, Harsh. Thank you, Jose. Are applicants invited from other trusts? Absolutely. I'm employed at ELFT. I'm really sorry. Where is ELFT?
East
Jessica,
London
do you know?
Foundation Trust. Yeah, it's a psychiatry trust. Yes, totally fine. It's in the east of England, though, bizarrely.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Anyone in the east of England can apply.
That's why Francesca's here, because she's understands it. Yeah. So it's the east of England area. So Sharin, if I pronounce that right, as an SD3, you are absolutely eligible to apply, and your eligibility is that you haven't done research because you have been an international medical graduate. I'm guessing, that would be the position. So absolutely, you're definitely eligible. Yeah, thank you, Sushant. Thank you very much. People like me can't cope with these complicated acronyms. Yeah. So all of you who are expressing, the question, am I eligible? You are definitely eligible. Everything you've written there. Yeah. Very good. Any other questions or queries? Perhaps I could ask you a question. So Eralp, if you don't mind me asking you, please reply by a text or come on there. But would it be difficult for resident doctors to get a week off to come and do research? Is that going to be difficult? And what do we need to put in place? Francesca's cat is wandering.
I think I can answer from here. So
thanks, Sarah.
I'm a trainee at CPFC, and currently, I guess the main reason I wasn't able to involve in research was difficulties with getting the study leave or having that time apart from the clinical time, actually. So we, I believe, like might need some support from your side in terms of like talking with our like education supervisor or clinical supervisor or maybe TPDs as well.
And we can certainly do that. And if you've got that, if you're in that educational environment, there should be absolutely no difficulty about this. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Eralp. And Nikolaos, if I've, apologies if I pronounced that right. So the answer is kind of both to both your parts of your questions. So this program is definitely for people who haven't had the opportunity to do research. And as part of that, we'll be teaching some research skills, but they will be at an introductory level. So you won't get advanced statistics out, but Anusha, yes. So you're asking if you don't make it onto that list. So there's two opportunities. So one is that the workshops that we're running, we will make open to a wider group than just those who are selected. But of course, there's also next year. So, you know, what I think I'd be very hopeful that everyone who is on this call today who wants to be part of this will be accommodated one way or another. The point is to be inclusive and not exclusive. So if you want to do this, you know, fill in the form and tell us, and we'll really try hard to make sure it happens for you. Application form will be sent this week, Louise. Would that be right? Can we say that?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan. So you'll get you'll get an email with a link, and it'll look exactly like what I showed. Is there anything that people on the call would like to see us doing? So that's a good question from Jin Jae-min, if I pronounce that right. Does being a co-author of a publication rule out eligibility? So no, I mean, there's nothing that's definitely going to rule you out. If you're interested in taking part, please fill this in. I'll be absolutely straightforward with you. If we have to, you know, if we have to distinguish between someone who's never ever done any research and someone who's done a publication, if it comes down to it, we'll go for the person who's not done any research. But I'm trying to, I hope you've heard my emphasis that we're trying to include everyone who's interested. That's our objective. We're not trying to, this isn't a competition where we're trying to get rid of people. You know, we're trying to really encourage people. So if you're keen to take part in research, fill in the form and we'll try and make it happen. Is there a website where we can find more information? No. There isn't, I'm afraid, not at the moment. So this is very new, and we actually only got the funding for this just a few weeks ago. So I'm afraid the only information that exists is what you've heard today. And Louise, we can send these slides out, can't we? We could send that out with an email. Thank you.
I intend to send out the slides and the recording with the application form.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's great. So that's the best we can offer just at the moment. I hope we will get a web page up and running, but we're right at the beginning. Would this program also help in going about to publish your own research? Joe, you can answer that. Why I shouldn't keep answering all these questions.
I think what it'll do is it'll get you to work with a research group for the week, and you know, there might be opportunities that go along with that. In terms of publishing your own research, I think it'll be very dependent on where you are and who you're working with. But as Alistair says, it will certainly help you develop research skills that will be the foundation to publishing your own research and doing your own research, hopefully in the future.
Does anyone think that they'd like to do this, but there's something stopping them from doing it? Because if there's an obstacle that we can help overcome, does it sound interesting but practically too difficult? I mean, we're particularly concerned about folk who might have caring responsibilities at home, for instance. That coming to Cambridge for a week sounds like fun, but just not possible. Are there any obstacles like that that people are worried about that they might want to bring up at this stage. It's something we could discuss later individually, obviously.
And we want to hear ideas about overcoming some of that as well. So if there, you know, if it is about accommodation, you know, whatever you think the barriers might be, or if you can think of solutions that might overcome that, please get in contact with us, because we do want to learn how we make this better. We want to learn how we make this even, you know, how we make this as inclusive as possible. So especially around caring responsibilities, please get in contact with us, because that we definitely do not want that to be a barrier for people taking part in this.
Yeah, and Shereen has made the point about rotas, and obviously some rotas are very difficult to take time out of. What we'd say is that you would know if you're going to be part of the group next year, you would know before Christmas, and you can have up until June of next year to plan your 1 week away. So we'd really hope that with study leave, if you're eligible for study leave, or with negotiation, you'll be able to take a week off to be with us if you're a doctor without disrupting the rota too much. So we really hope that's possible. So this is another acronym I don't understand. Perhaps Francesca can help me with. IMG, starting recently to work in the NHS.
NHS or IMG? IMG, I assume. International Medical Graduate.
Ah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. There's so much for me to learn here. Yes.
That's why we're here.
Yes, exactly. You keep me under control, Jessica. Yeah, international medical graduate. Thank you. You are our target audience. So if you're an international medical graduate on this call, you're definitely one of the group of people that we would like to offer this opportunity to. And if you're on this call, we've got your email address and you will receive an application form, or at least, and Louise has put her email address in, and do take that down, because she can put you right if you're missing a form or missing a key contact address. Good. Any other concerns? Do you want to let us? So rotas is a significant obstacle. I get that. And I'm very willing to phone up your rota organizer and just explain how important this is if that was ever an issue. If you're based at James Paget, to come to stay for a week in Cambridge is fine if you're a single person, isn't it? But if you've got a child, that might be prohibitive. So you ask about dates. So the dates are up to you. So the dates are not fixed. That's the first thing. So we could definitely find a week that might be easier for you if you can organise childcare with someone else. But also, if it would be easier from the James Paget to go to Norwich for EAU, then we can fix up a research week there. So although you've just got Cambridge people on the line, this programme has been approved and adopted at EAU and ARU. So we can offer you research experience in those places. And also potentially in GP surgeries, actually, we shouldn't forget that option. Might take me a bit longer to organise, but that is also an option. Yeah. Yeah. So the dates are for negotiation, and the idea there is to make it as easy as possible for you to take specific dates off, and we can plan those well in advance. And for a research group with lots of ongoing research, it honestly doesn't matter too much when you come from their point of view. Have I encouraged you to apply? You can just say yes. Would you be applying? Because thank you, that's great, because this is the first time we've put this on. So, oh, that's great. Thank you very much. That's super. So just while we wait for any final questions, so please do apply. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And just remember, if it all sounds like it's too much for this year, either practically or from a kind of confidence point of view, please still apply and put down that you want to come next year, and we'll we'll include you in all the kind of information and messaging, and then you can get yourself teed up for next year. So please do that. So I think we're coming to a close. Francesca, anything you wanted to add as a final comment?
No, that's great. Thank you.
Great. And Joe?
I suppose it's just to keep saying, please don't let anything put you off applying. If there's any doubts, if you've got any queries or worries, please just drop us an email, and we are really open to ideas and being as flexible as we possibly can. So there should be nothing that puts you off applying for this.
Exactly right. Louise, you're the person who has to run all this. Anything that we've forgotten or we need to mention?
No, nothing that I can think of.
Great. Okay. Well, we're all eagerly awaiting your application forms, folks. Thank you so much for for turning up. That's really encouraging us. Thank you for your questions, and thank you for being positive in your responses. As Joe has said, as I've said repeatedly, we want to include everyone who's interested. This is not it's not about weeding people out or selecting out or anything like that. This is about trying to help you get to experience research, because we think it's fantastically fun. Great. Okay. Thanks very much, folks. Really encouraging that you all joined. Thank you. Thanks for your kind comments.